Hello, I'm Sylvia Hartman, the creator of Modern Energy, and I'm here today to tell you about a protocol that I have written this past weeks to help with bereavement and beginning the process of healing from the intense physical pain of bereavement. Now, in 2000, I wrote my first correspondence course, and there was a chapter on bereavement healing in that course. And the course was, of course, focused on our living energy bodies. In fact, bereavement makes no sense at all if we don't take the actual reality of having these living energy bodies into consideration. When we love somebody, when we are with somebody a long time, or sometimes even just a short time, and it happens right away, we form what we call a couple bubble. And this is when two energy systems become intertwined. This is the reason for why we can feel it in our own bodies when this person is sad or upset, that we can share thoughts, that we can get into what was called rapport. It's just the two energy systems that combine, they become interlinked. This is how we come up with the same sentences at the same time, finish each other's sentences, speak at the same time, sigh at the same time. That's because our energy bodies are interlinked in that powerful way, and there's an energy exchange that is going on all the time. When you take one of these energy systems away, this is an intense shock. It is an intense disturbance to the living energy body. All of a sudden, all these connections are broken. There's no incoming energy. Outgoing energy has got nowhere to go, and it throws the entire energy system into a state of complete chaos. This is extremely intense and produces intense emotions. Emotions are the physical feelings that are transmitted through the physical body, so we can know what goes on in our energy bodies. Emotions are our sixth sense. And so there is an indescribable variety of high-end, physically painful emotions involved in the shock of bereavement. There's a time of numbness, and then these things come to the fore in these intense emotions, stabbing pains in the heart, in the stomach, in the head, in the neck, sensations of intense pressure that will push you to your knees down to the floor. Huge waves of emotions that you've never experienced before. And all of these are the reactions of an energy body that has been thrown into chaos. Now, when I speak of a couple bubble, that doesn't just mean husband and his wife. It is something that just happens between people. And of course, the most intense forms of this couple bubble are the relationships that we form with our children. And likewise, obviously, we were children once, the relationships we form with our parents. Now, there was an earthquake in Turkey and Syria to a degree, and 50,000 people lost their lives. Those are 50,000 people that have left behind friends and relatives and loved ones. And that is an enormous amount of grief and bereavement. But in many ways that's the high tip of a gigantic iceberg, because many, many more people lost their lives that day as they knew them. They lost their homes, they lost their businesses, they lost their relationships. These two are also bereavement. And these people are finding themselves now sitting literally in the ruins of their incarnation. And so I thought to myself, what can we do to help? And what came to mind immediately was this original star event in 2000, when an aspect of myself was writing a course on the energy of bereavement and realized that there is a healed state to bereavement. There is a healed state. And my aspect called it the Immortal Beloved. These are the words of a poem. But it sprang to mind, and it is perfect, the Immortal Beloved. There is actually a healed state of bereavement where when we think about a person or something that we've lost, and it doesn't hurt any longer, but instead we experience a state of love and gratitude, a positive, uplifting energy state when we think of that person. And we're grateful for the gifts that we received, and we remember the love, and we have come back to love. And to me, those are not just words, they're structural realities. We have a real energy center, the heart of energy. We have these real energy organs there. And the heart of energy can break. It is there where we have the most connections with these other people that we love. And when the heart of energy goes down, the entire energy system goes down. But when the heart of energy spools up again and starts to be able to love again, a powerful, positive, forward momentum happens in the energy system. And that is amazing, and that is true, and that is right. And that is something that especially all the people in the Western world have never even heard of. That there is a healed state to bereavement. They were told that they'll just get used to living with the pain, and that the best that they can hope for is not to be in pain all the time, but only certain times of years, or when it's the beloved's birthday that you start to cry again. This is terrible. That's the last thing our loved ones would have ever wanted, that they were remembered through pain and suffering and your tears. It's just awful. But modern energy brings us the healed state of bereavement back, the Immortal Beloved, where it doesn't hurt any longer. In the opposite, it is an uplifting, loving, living love for those who have moved on, ascended, who have gone on to be pure spirit in the realms of energy. So when I saw this truth, that there is a healed state of bereavement, that first of all brought back this star of hope, the star of hope that we can find our way back to love, and instead of pain and suffering, when we remember the people that we have loved, that we still love right now. We never stop loving them. Let's not put that in the past tense. The person who has died, ascended, gone on to heaven, paradise, sanctuary levels, we still love that person. So let's keep that in the present tense. It is as much the giving of love that is what keeps the heart center spinning, that keeps us alive, that keeps us strong, as it is the receiving of love. It's a two-way thing. It's receiving, giving and receiving. An ongoing process. The immortal beloved is present in our life. We sense their love, and we can give them our love to keep our systems going, to keep our love flowing. Which is so healthy and so the right thing to do. The immortal beloved gives us something else right away, which is that a person who has suffered bereavement, shock and trauma, that the very first thing that we need to focus on is simply the heart of gold, the energy center, to bring that back online, because as soon as we do, it starts powering out up all the rest of our energy system. So this then gives us the heart position. And there is a pathway here. Started with the immortal beloved, and then in 2004 there was this person with a broken heart, and the only thing I could say to them was like a poem. Place your own healing hands on your own broken heart. All the gentleness and exquisite care you would afford to a tiny frozen bird you found there on your doorstep. I will do what I can for you, my love. For sure, I am no angel, but what I have to give, I give to you. When we ask people to assume the heart position and to start breathing deeply, we are giving whatever we have to give to the most important place, the most important focal point in times of chaos and distress, which is the heart of energy. And the heart position is such a gift, and I am forever grateful to that person who made me see that, who made me understand that. And so with the heart position and the concept of the heart of energy, and the concept that love will heal us, and with the concept of the immortal beloved as the end state of the process of healing from bereavement, we have a powerful, simple system that we can take even into places like a refugee camp in Turkey right now, where people are still in shock, in stress and in chaos. And we can ask them simply to assume the heart position, to breathe deeply, and do their very best to focus on love, with the view of finding our way out of pain and suffering, out of stress and distress, and back towards love. I am so grateful and so amazed that there was something that I could do personally to help our Turkish trainers in this situation with the very simple, very basic, Immortal Beloved Bereavement Protocol. This really is, for now, just about breathing in the heart position and having that hope that love will return more powerfully than ever before. Because I believe when we do this right, we lose a lot of the fear of loving deeply and profoundly. I believe that many of us unknowingly hold back on loving for fear of what happens if we lose that love. And we'll be in pain forever, and the more we have loved, the worse the pain will be. I believe that when we even get close to that final stage of the Immortal Beloved, we learn something so important about love and what it does for us, how it empowers us, how it is really true that love is the most powerful form in the universe, and that our will to love more and love again and love afresh and love deeper and more profound than ever we did before is it's not a savior just for that individual person. That idea, the very concept, is a transformative, revolutionary, heretical concept. The will to love. So what happened was that I wrote the Immortal Beloved Protocol for the Turkish trainers. And then we thought, we'll make it available to the practitioners. And then we thought, we'll make it available to the members. And then one of our Ukrainian members, trainers, asked if they could have the protocol too. And so it was translated into Ukrainian and Russian. And then we just said, well, let's just make it available to everyone. Make it available to everyone who needs to see this, read this. And there may be many who don't like it or argue with it or would rather that people do some kind of psychology for 50 years instead and end up with their anniversary sadness. And there may be some people who might even say that the Immortal Beloved is just a concept that doesn't exist, or that I'm wrong about it. Well, I invite you to try to test it. I have found the concept in my own personal journeys of bereavement to be wonderfully powerful, wonderfully empowering. And I believe that there is nothing gained for yourself, for your incarnation, for your spiritual journey, for your holiness, for your value as a person, to not move towards love with all speed and with all desire. Now there are many additional modern energy techniques that can be employed to improve the flow of energy through your living energy body. And you might as well call it love. Improve the flow of love through your living energy body. Healing love. Heavenly love. The greatest power in the universe. If anything can ever heal us of our pain and suffering and chaos and confusion and put us back together and heal our broken hearts so that they can once again begin to shine like the sun, then improving the flow of energy is the way to do that. All modern energy techniques improve the flow of energy through the living energy body. And once a person has understood this core principle that we need to move towards love, towards flow, then we can say, right, now you've understood, it's up to you to look after yourself, to understand that there will be moments of terrible grief and sadness. And that's all right, that's human. That is your energy body telling you what's going on, what's happening. And what we want to do with that is to find our way to love, back to love, as soon as we possibly can. And always, always, always remember to use the heart position to stabilize ourselves, to breathe deeply with that will towards finding our way back to love, out of pain and suffering and stress and distress and anger and every other form of emotion that will come up at some point, often unexpectedly. There are these huge waves of, you can't even describe that emotion in bereavement, these huge waves that seem to wash you away from yourself. And that is also just human, it is normal, it is natural. As soon as you can, put your hands back on your heart of energy, breathe deeply, and affirm that will towards love, moving towards that time when your heart of gold is working again, and you can see your loved ones smiling at you again, and you can connect with the precious memories that you had with them, and get that positive energy from those precious memories, these gifts that you have received already and in spades, and who are part of you that will remain with you forever, your star memories, the treasures and riches of your lifetime. The modern energy paradigm is really quite simple, and it is about bringing people towards love. We try and make it easy and say, oh, it's just about making people happier. Yes, it is that too. It is the same thing. It's one and the same. Love and happiness at the high levels is indistinguishable from one another. And it is never love that hurts. It is only, ever, the absence of love that hurts. I hope deeply and profoundly that the simple Immortal Beloved Protocol will help our Turkish trainers, will help other people who deal with people who are in deep shock, in bereavement, who are experiencing that terrible pain, to help them stabilize and move to a point where they can actively look after themselves, understand how energy body stress works, and start to actively take a hand in loving themselves too and caring for themselves too, and being able to open up to love when it is offered from a sunrise, from a little bird on a tree, from a neighbor or a relative who may be scared and frightened and not quite know what to say. That is also a part of that journey towards the Immortal Beloved that any one of us will become in due course as well. And I would absolutely love it if my loved ones and my children would experience love and gratitude when they think about me, rather than pain and suffering. So this is the story of the Immortal Beloved Protocol from February of 2023. It's available with my love to everyone. And there's much, much more I could say about modern energy and the processes of bereavement. But if we can just simply remember this and focus on this, that there is a healed state of bereavement, when only love remains, only love remains. That we want to move forwards towards that. That we start by stabilizing the chaotic energy system in pain, by breathing in the heart position. And when we're ready, try to remember the love, think about something that we love, and allow that to start that process of healing the pain of bereavement with love. And that will heal us too, in a most extraordinary way, and set us free to love again, which is the most important thing. I think we have all an awful lot still to learn about love, and how to love, and what that does to us when we start thinking about that and taking it really seriously. I would like to end this by sending all my love to all of the people affected in Turkey and in Syria, all the people affected all around the world, but really to every single person all around the world who is suffering the chaos, the shock, the trauma, the terrible pain of bereavement right now. And on that level, I would love to send each one their own star of hope. Because it's true, at the end, only love remains. Thank you so much for listening. I will continue to do the best that I can to help people be happier, make the world a better place, one tear less shed, one pain less had at a time.